Niketa.
And Donovan Harris.
And we're fresh out of the hospital.
Yes.
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Recuperation.
Yes, recuperation.
And support.
So, I had a pump issue, and my sugar was going up to 400.
Yes.
I woke up with it being 400, which means it was 400 all night. I felt like crap. And I called Donovan at work and said, I really don't feel good. And he got off early and took me to the ER. And you can tell the ER story, short version, because I don't remember it.
Long story short, we got to the ER, and when we got there, they basically got Niketa's sugar down the first day. That was Tuesday. And then they released it around like 9 o'clock. So we got home, I checked the sugar maybe like 3 times between the hour of 9 and 3 in the morning. It's normally when I get up to go to work, 3:30. So sugar kept going up. So I was saying to myself, hey man, we just gotta check her back in. She was sleep knocked out, so we took her back in. Wednesday, that following day, and she was in, and they were, working with to get her sugars down, because she was DKA by then. And the doctor came to me and said, have you thought about the pump? And I said, well, in the back of my mind, yeah, but I just wanted to make sure you guys get her sugars to a level where, she's stable and everything. So I called the pump people, technological people, and they helped me troubleshoot the pump. Come to find out the pump was cool, but then when we troubleshoot the infusion set where it inserts into her body, that was a little off.
And so today we're going to be talking about diabetes in relationships during a traumatic experience.
Time of crisis, yeah.
Yeah, so I was basically in the ICU in DKA for 7 days.
What's DKA?
That's when your sugars are spilling into your urine and they're at extremely high levels, and your body could go into shutdown. But I was in ICU for 7 days. They ended up getting that under control, but the high sugars sent my gastroparesis, which is nerve damage in the stomach, into a flare-up. So then I was in the hospital for 7 more days. So just talk in relationship about how was it, going home every day with your wife being in the hospital.
Well, for
to
me,
those T3s.
Yeah, well, for the T3s and just support group. For me, it was basically because, like I said, we're Christians, and for me, it was just basically staying grounded and coming home every day and just really praying and asking God to give me a peace level, even though my insides are like all over the place, to give me a peace level to be strong for her, and not panic, because I know that's the key thing, and not panicking. So for me, each day was just staying grounded, and just making sure I just keep her lifted up and, talk to family and friends on Facebook and keep them informed. But
yeah, you kept everyone super informed.
Yeah, so people wouldn't panic, and then trying to keep mom calm, mom Teddy, because she was panicking and kind of, I just wanted to keep everybody at a level, so I had to be the matriarch of just being peaceful, even though my insides were like, ah! So
it's weird because after the fact, when I think of ICU, like when you're looking at all the TV shows and stuff, ICU is like, you either get out of there or you don't.
Yeah.
So to think that I was in there for 7 days and I was vomiting bile, which is just like acid. I ended up being on I called it what did I call it? The gold juice or the? It's basically like 1,700 calories in a bag given through you through IV, giving you all your nutrients and stuff. So I wasn't eating by mouth for those whole 14 days.
Yeah.
The last 2 days in the hospital, they wanted to see if I can hold down food through my mouth and gradually wean me off of the gold juice.
Yeah.
So I had 3 meals a day for those last 2 days. And then those last 2 days were actually the best days out of the whole 14 days. The only time where I could go to sleep without vomiting and all this kind of stuff. And I was walking around with my little walker, trying to help my stomach move and stuff. So around the nurses' stations, and they'd be like, oh, here she comes again.
Yeah.
But I was able to take those 3 meals 3 times a day for those last 2 days. And then finally, I was released. The recovery period has been slow. I've been a little slow, but then I had to realize I was laying up in a bed for 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
like muscles non-existent. So I tried to go down the stairs one day and I just like started going really fast. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do need muscles to go down the stairs too.
Yeah.
But he's been super supportive in
That's what we do.
everything.
That's what we're supposed to do. Loved ones, T3 support system, those who support their loved ones or people they know with diabetes. It's what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be an automatic step up. And just really find out those things that you could do to help and make it easier for that person. You know, whether, like you said, just research or reading books or just going to different programs to get a wealth of information to help you understand it more. Because once you understand it more, when crisis happen, it's less panic and it's more going into action. Now you know what to do, even though you can function, you know.
And we were talking the other day about your vows,
Yeah.
and as a young couple in that not that many years under our belt, when you talk about in sickness and in health, most of the time you're thinking, oh yeah, that's gonna be like 30 years down the line or 40 years down the line. You don't think it's gonna be in like year 3. So I got a little emotional with just all that he was helping me with, and I was like, I bet you didn't think you were going to be doing this in year 3, living up to those in sickness and in health vows.
But you just do. That's the thing, is you go in it with knowing, you just do. Because like I say, it could be a person who doesn't have an illness or anything, and anything can happen. Like I always tell my wife, anything can happen to anybody at any time. So it's just a matter of going and knowing this is what I'm supposed to do. Regardless of if she would do it for me, so or anybody else, any one of her friends or moms. So you know, she did it for her mom. So yeah.
And I have this little tortoise necklace on because my friends from grad school, we were all on a chat, and I was telling them that I was feeling better, but I was moving kind of slow. One of my friends said that, well, remember the tortoise, it moves very slow, but they live to be over 100 years old and they have grace and wisdom. So then my other friend got all 4 of us tortoise necklaces because I said my spirit animal is going to be the tortoise throughout this whole recovery period. So I just had to send a shout out to Tatiana Swispico for this, and I said I'm going to wear it my whole recovery period and more, but definitely during my recovery.
So the sisterhood of the traveling tortoises.
Yes, the tortoise sisters. Anyway, so that was one of the questions that came up, so we definitely wanted to make sure that we answered it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's been up with me,
Yes.
and up with us
Yeah.
for the past 2-3 weeks.
So a learning period from all this is more faith, always a plus.
Having
Research,
a strong foundation,
important,
yeah,
super important. Friends,
with
family.
each other, family, friends, strong prayer life. Loads of people were praying, and I definitely felt the love.
Taking action even more so with your eating and exercise, and just those other elements that can help balance.
Yeah, so with the gastroparesis, I'm going to be trying smaller meals more frequently throughout the day. So, say 5 meals, but all
Yeah.
small, and playing with figuring out what works with my body in terms of acidity and things like that. But we thank you for
Thank you,
all
guys.
your love and support and prayers. I
Yes.
read every single message and was overwhelmed by the amount of love. The people who have come over to the house to cook meals, or just on the phone giving me encouraging words. All the people who came to the hospital
Yes.
during that time. I just want to say thank you, and I love you, and I'm glad that you're in my life. And to all the Facebook and Instagram friends for all of your love and support,
Yes.
and all of the many messages that you left online.
Yes.
We both thank you.
We thank you guys. We love you guys. And with that, we are